It's easier than one would expect to create a utopia. All you need is to make sure you obey your people's wants, their needs, and have the appropriate labor force. Ah, yes. The unicorpia of my age was a utopia. No one wanted for anything. No one desired anything. I made sure I used my magic to give them all they needed. I also used my magic to conquer all who opposed me. Villains, criminals, you name it. Oh, who was the slave labor, you may ask? Why, none other than the Unicorpians. Oh, don't give me that. They would have used us as slave labor too. They could have gotten away with it. But those lovely Unicorpians, for all their much vaunted strength and abilities and speed, made it so glorious for them to work so well for us, to watch them trample and use their powers for something other than fighting. It was so good, I can imagine why Celestia hesitated. It would have made our jobs too easy. So, time moved on. Oh, there was resistance. Starfleet's team arose from the depths to try to kill me. I always felt sorry for Starfleet. They lacked the compassion in equine emotions that we respect so much. They lack empathy. For instance, when my team lost Twilight, her friends never replaced her. Starfleet lost Raimi, and they replaced him on the spot with a look-alike. No one noticed, no one cared, and neither once did any of them show any sympathy for the loss of their team. Which is why I was so glad to kill Dino and Mite underneath the crystal caves in a cave accident. You would think miners would know better. Buddy, I hung him right in front of his daughter, breaking his neck with his own vine. Buddy, I boiled alive in his own paint. Then we come to Starlin and Lightning. Surprisingly, the bitch had a heart. Yes, I ripped Starla's heart from her own chest and then rammed it down her throat. I couldn't help but smile as I watched her eat it. So happily, I could have sworn she moaned. Then I grabbed Lightning Dawn's son and then I ran a pike through him before burning his carcass. As Lightning stood there in shock, I told him, "This is what I wanted to do to your son when I first saw him." Of course, this brought Lightning's rage so much that he became an Anticorn! That super mode of his. So inferior to someone who was descended from Mimic, the first unicorn. When Lightning tried to stop me with that form, I beat him. I destroyed him. Then as he lay there broken, bleeding, I gave him one last gift. I used the power of my magic to make him feel everything. All of my hate, all of my rage, all of my pain, all of my sorrow, all of my suffering. So that way he could learn the most important lesson of all before he died. The lesson of true suffering. Sadly, that made me feel down. Without Starfleet, the resistance broke. There was none left who wanted to oppose me. There was none that wanted to stand forth and tell me enough. Everyone was too content to live in the utopia I created. That's when I learned my harshest lesson of all. Utopia is such a boring prospect. There was no challenge, no battles for me to handle, no one to test my power. The only satisfaction I could ever get again was killing Grand Ruler. But how? How could I have kill him again and feel that same feeling of elation? Only one way. I would have to go into Starswell the Bearded's wing and pull out the time spell. The old bastard. He knew the theory of time travel, but he didn't go far enough. He stopped when he should have kept on going. But with the powers of Mimic, I was able to discover secrets that he did not know about. And I was able to find a way to stay there longer than 5 minutes and be able to do everything I wanted to do. And so, one day, I activated the spell and then went back in time to just a little bit before I had killed Grand Ruler before. Just a few months after I had signed the Articles of Succession and killed Grand Ruler there. I wouldn't begin to describe the feeling of elation it gave me as I killed him again. Then I began to think what to do next as I went back to my own time. Wonder if the changes would be minuscule. Grand Ruler wasn't important, so how would I change?